Well, baby, I'm on it with a bottle of wine and an old dirt road. Are you ready to go?
Fantastic.
Hey, thanks everybody for joining us today on Live Music Nation podcast. I'm your host, Jake Gill. Today we are with Paul Schofer, CEO, Kauffman Center, Kansas City, Missouri. Paul, thanks for joining us. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me on here.
Paul, give us a little background on you. Where did you grow up? And then talk about your career to now as CEO.
You bet. I grew up in mid-Missouri, in Columbia, Missouri. Moved to Kansas City after college about 100 years ago. So Kansas City is now my hometown. But interestingly, my background is financial operational. So I became a CPA after college and spent the duration of my career working with large corporations, Marion Laboratories, Hallmark Cards, others in the Kansas City area, doing financial work. But as I
Well, baby, I'm on it with a bottle of wine and an old dirt road. Are you ready to go?
30 plus years trying to figure out what I really wanted to do.
Sure.
And so it's through a chain of events that probably couldn't be repeated that I ended up taking the role of CFO at the Kauffman Center for the Performing Arts. And 2 years later, our CEO, a lady by the name of Jane Chu, was selected by President Obama to be chairman of the National Endowment for the Arts. And at the time, I was moved into the CEO role, which was interesting for a financial guy that had no background in the performing arts.
Give us a little background on the Kauffman Center. Tell us exactly what it is, what it entails, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. We opened our doors 11 years ago in September of 2011, but its history actually goes back quite a ways before that. There was a couple in Kansas City by the name of Ewing and Muriel Kauffman. They were well known in the community and still are for all that they've done and contributed to the community. Mr. K owned Marion Laboratories, owned the Kansas City Royals. They are both involved in philanthropy in many ways. Mrs. Kauffman's passion was the arts. And right before she passed away in 1995, she shared with her daughter, Julie Irene, her dream of having a world-class performing arts center here in our community. And Julia sat on that for a few years, thought about it, and then kicked things off right after the turn of the century. And really, with her leadership and perseverance, and certainly the support of thousands in our community, this $400 million building opened up in September of 2011. Wow. And it came with a lot of fanfare, as much as anything, because of the architecture. It's this amazingly beautiful masterpiece of architecture. Soon after we opened, it was listed as one of the world's 15 most beautiful concert halls.
Wow.
The only other one in the United States on that list was Disney Hall in Los Angeles. And it's not just the outside. The inside, it's got two venues. Muriel Kauffman Theater is a beautiful venue, and it's where the ballet, the opera, theater, artists like Boyz II Men and Blondie perform. Our concert hall, about 1,600 seats, and it's the home to the Kansas City Symphony, and it's where artists like Art Garfunkel and John Legend have performed. Arguably the best acoustics in the world, and that's not just me saying that. It's
Sure.
Essentially every artist that comes here. But as you know, if people don't come, it doesn't mean anything, as no matter how beautiful it is. And I look back at 2 months after our doors opened, there was an article in the New York Times that essentially said, well, the glitz and glamour of grand opening is behind us. We're starting to see crowds dwindle. And, we were kind of scratching our heads at the time. What are they talking about? So I bring that article every year, and up until the pandemic, our attendance levels and the number of performances went up every single year. 2019, before the pandemic, we actually hit 352 on-stage performances that year. and decided that was too many, that our sweet spot is really 300 to 325. So it was a good position to be in. Thrilled that our community has just embraced the center and overall the performing arts.
Paul, what's the best aspect of your job? What do you enjoy the most?
I'd say hands down, it comes down to the interaction with our patrons. Our vision is diverse and extraordinary performing arts experiences for everyone.
Yeah.
And enriching the lives of everyone in our community kind of go hand in hand. And whether I'm viewing or observing or interacting with our patrons that are 5 years old or 95 years old, you kind of literally see our vision of enriching people come to life when they walk in the building. And there's smiles, there's energy, they're uplifted. It's really something to see your vision coming to life. And I firmly believe that overall experience stays with them, and it doesn't just end when they get in their car to go home.
Sure. No, that's great. Fantastic. Hey, let's have two fun questions here. What's the all-time best show you've ever seen in your entire life?
There's been a couple at the Kauffman Center, and the word show is exactly how I would describe them versus a performance. And it would be Alice Cooper and David Byrne.
Oh, wow.
And in both of those, it was theater with, music included in that. And it was a show from start to finish. And David Byrne and Alice Cooper, they put on a different image, from who they are the second they step on that stage. And very entertaining.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Last question. Dead or alive, you could bring one act or one person to perform at the Kauffman Center. Who would you bring?
I'll let you say whether you're dead or alive, but I'd love to have Elvis on stage. So
that would be fantastic.
I'd throw in Buddy Holly with Patsy Cline as an opener, maybe as an option there. So there's a few. I could go on and on.
Fantastic. No, that's great. Paul, how do people find out more about the Kauffman Center, the productions you're going to have, your shows, your calendar, etc.?
Yeah. Please visit our website. That's the best location, www.kaufmancenter.org. Request to be a part of our email list, and you will get updates, and we promise that there will not be emails coming to your inbox daily. We try to make that something that when you see it, you open it because it's new information. For sure.
All right. Paul Schofer, thank you very much for joining us from the Kauffman Center. Thanks for letting us know what's going on there. Thanks for being on the Live Music Nation podcast.
Thanks so much. It's great to be with you.
Well, baby, I'm on it with a bottle of wine.